Informed, outspoken, wild, fearless. This is the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast.
What is up, my dudes? This is Trent with the Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast. I am joined by Jordan, Seth, and Phill. Today's episode, we are going to react to some new NFL rule changes. We're going to do our first mock draft of the year. We got some more dudes decide, divas, more NFL news and notes. But before we get all to that, let's huddle up with my dudes. Like I said, I am joined by Seth, Jordan, and Phill. Jordan, how are you doing, buddy? You know, I saw a lot on Twitter today that Trevor Lawrence and Caleb Williams were both trending on Twitter, and it had to do with Trevor Lawrence being a lock, you know, to be a good quarterback in the NFL. And guys are comparing, you know, they're saying Caleb Williams is a lock to be, you know, a really good quarterback in the NFL, and they're saying he's the most recent since Trevor Lawrence. So guys are kind of, you know, smearing his name a little bit because of that. Have you just been on a burner accounts, you know, just talking about this, you know, talking up Trevor Lawrence, saying it's too early, all that stuff? Like, how are you feeling about that?
I'll be honest, I had not heard that until you just mentioned it. I mean, what, the guy's played 3 years in the NFL. I don't count his rookie year, like you guys know. Went to the playoffs 1 year, won a playoff game, and the following year was what, a win away from going to the playoffs. Second year, I don't know. Like, sure, maybe his stats aren't great, but I think he's still early on in his career, and I don't know. I think, like, yes, is he Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck? Probably not, but I don't think we can declare him a bust yet. So I don't know.
Yeah,
he's a serviceable quarterbacks in the NFL aren't good. Like, Trevor Lawrence is probably a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. If you can get a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, no matter where you draft him at, you're doing fine.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You probably feel better not getting a 15 overall quarterback in the NFL, not taking him first overall. But, you know, you got Baker Mayfield, who is number one overall. You have Trevor Lawrence, who are other number one overall picks in the NFL right now. Bryce Young. Who else is on that list? I can't even think of it right now. There's definitely more.
There's more for sure.
And then we are recording this a night early.
Was Jared Goff one overall?
No,
I believe
class.
No, he was not. Wasn't Rosen before Jared Goff?
No, he was the year with Baker and Josh Allen, I think.
That's
what
right.
year? I thought Jared Goff was one overall.
I don't think he was.
Number one overall by the Rams.
Yeah, he was number one overall.
That's embarrassing for such a Jared Goff fan. I can't believe I was mistaken on that.
Phil made me second guess myself. I don't know why.
He has the tendency to do that. Phil got so excited that John Harbaugh's living in an RV that Phil's been sending me RVs that I should be living in. Phil, like, you know,
that's facts.
Phil's getting into the outdoorsy type, but you guys see that John Harbaugh's living in an RV right now. He said he thought it'd always be fun. So before he gets a house, he's actually living in an RV right now. So
did he buy the RV, renting the RV, leasing the RV?
I am not sure. He could be
borrowing the RV. Stole the RV. Like, what did he do here?
Van down by the river. I don't know. Phil had kind of something like that, I think, you know, for a while. But
you got to be careful with that type of stuff. I accidentally asked a guy, not trying to offend him, but just he told me he had a van. We have a friend. We all have a friend of the pod. We all have a friend, relative who has one of those larger vans, but his is a passenger van. Some people buy the ones that are not passenger vans that are enclosed. And so when a guy told me that he had one of those, I'm like, oh, no way. Do you live in it? Like, I know people who have lived in those vans, but he wasn't, but he wasn't clear about the situation. And I think I kind of offended him. And I was like, no, like, people do that. Like, that's a real thing. And he was like, no, I don't live in my van, dude. So you got to be careful though, when you ask people about that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's still on the cutting edge, believe it or not, about people living in their vans, which, hey, if I was a single dude between the ages of like 22 and 28, and could work from home and had no other responsibilities, I might live in a van and just travel throughout the United States. Like, that actually sounds pretty cool.
Oh, it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun.
Living off the land, fishing every day.
Well, you have the work from home part down, Phil. You just gotta I don't know if you can go back in time and decrease your
I don't.
age.
I don't think I can go back in time. What was I doing in my 20s, man? What a waste.
So much potential, and you just let
I
it
had
go.
so
like
much
that.
potential, and it just didn't pan out the way I thought it would.
Seth, or you're in your 20s, Seth. You think about doing the van living, van go? or
Never.
whatever?
Nope. Mm-mm.
I've never
Kinda
seen
seem like a
Seth
van.
outside.
I like
that
sleeping
room,
in a
though.
normal sized bed. I'll say that.
Well,
What's
like
a
Seth,
sleeping
normal
in
size bed?
they have normal
Like
size
a
beds in
queen
those
size
vans.
bed or larger.
Okay, that's fair enough. Not
At least
I
you
feel
know,
like
full.
you. I feel like you look like you sleep in a queen size bed. Like
I
that.
do.
That makes a lot of sense. I think
I do.
you got to switch
the
over
West
to the
wasn't.
California King, brother.
I don't need a bigger one. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm queen too.
Why would the
believe it or
people
not.
living in the van say too? I don't need a bigger one.
Yeah, I don't need a house. I got 4 wheels, and the road is my backyard.
I don't need a real toilet. I don't need a shower.
No, they have showers and toilets in those
Nope.
things, Seth.
Absolutely not. Nope.
Uh,
They have
we
a
are
shovel and dirt. That's what they have.
Okay, all right.
Tell me I'm
We are
wrong.
recording a night early because Seth had a baseball game.
Hold
we
on,
thought
Seth.
tomorrow
Do you
night.
actually believe that, or are you just doing a bit? Because I'm not sure right now.
I guarantee people actually do that, Phil.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a small percentage, but most people,
I think it's bigger than you think.
most people that I know who live in their vans have
How many people
like,
do you know that live in their van? Just curious.
That is concerning.
less than 3, though 3 or under.
I bet you at least one of the 3 has done it before.
Yeah, maybe if they're out in the wilderness, but like normally
Exactly.
they
That
set up
happens.
the.
You said how many people have done that, and I said probably
No.
at least 50%.
I said, do you actually believe that people don't have like restrooms in those things? They're like RVs, Seth.
No, they don't.
I see. So you're showing your IQ a little bit. Like I actually am not sure
most of
if
them
you
don't have toilets. I think
no
most of them
a
don't.
lot. Maybe if they're building them, most of them do, Seth.
All right.
No.
This is a very stinky take, and this is going nowhere. I think we probably need to transition.
I just
from
wanna
the
know.
huddle.
Doesn't count, Phil.
Admit that you're doing a bit, Seth. That's all I have to say.
A kid's potty trainer doesn't count.
Are you doing a bit? Yes or no?
No.
You are. You are
Okay.
And a
like.
shower doesn't count as a water bottle on your head.
You are delusional. Most of those, it's an RV, Seth.
We'll solve this problem later,
We
Phil.
were talking about
Yes,
a van,
we need
not
to
an
look at
RV.
it.
Yeah, with all this stinky talk, guys, sometimes you got to be on the go. Whether you live in a van or you live in a house, head over to Manscaped, enter promo code DUDES20, 20% off your whole entire order, guys. Get razors, deodorants, wipes, all your, necessities for your dude to, take care of himself, whether you live in a van or in a house. So let's break this huddle. Let's head over some news and notes before we get into today's mock draft. And, yeah, actually, before we get into that, we had a little viral tweet over the weekend. I was kind of upset that Hurdles, reposted our tweet and didn't even, tag us or give us any love. Shout out, to Aaron Odland tagging me, or else I would have never even known that Hurdles did tag us in that. But I just want to ask everyone's opinion on this, since, everyone thinks I'm a numbskull online. Do you guys believe that OBJ is overrated in his whole career? Like what's your take on this?
Hold on. I think, first of all, you never said OBJ was overrated.
I never
you put
said
him as
that,
a
but
graphic.
yeah,
I know,
Yeah.
but that's because people
said I
don't
was cynical.
like. I
I had to Google
I
that.
think you were giving like an option of someone who
Mhm.
could be considered overrated, right? Like
Yeah.
you had to put the graphic for somebody. Like you couldn't. You had to come
Yeah.
up with a graphic. So like, but I don't know. OBJ's like, I feel like OBJ was good, but not as good as like people kind of. I don't know. I think he's a little overrated, to be honest. Not the most overrated, but I think he's overrated.
The one-handed catch on Sunday Night Football versus the Dallas Cowboys as a rookie definitely made him larger than life, right? Like we had never seen him. He was on the big stage. He sticks it, with his one hand, makes that amazing catch. And that just kind of, skyrocketed the whole entire career. But maybe if he doesn't get hurt, he's a totally different player than he is now. MetLife has, ruined a lot of careers. And I actually believe they're getting grass for the World Cup. So I think, the whole turf debate will be, over by then. But a lot of names that were in that overrated tweet, a lot of people said Joe Namath was a popular name.
Someone
Another
threw
one.
Aaron Rodgers Rodgers in there like very early on, I think, right?
A lot of people said Aaron Rodgers. We had people saying Tom Brady. We had a lot of Troy Aikman. We had a lot of who else was on there? If you pull up the tweet, you can see some wild stuff. But yeah, the thing went crazy. 3.4 million views. Check us out on Twitter, guys, at tffdudes. I know I do some fun stuff on there every day. Follow us on YouTube at tffdudes and Instagram. I remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. If you agree with us,
Herbert.
send us a comment. What did you say? Herbert was on there a lot.
Herbert
Yes.
was on there. Romo, Troy,
Like-
Trent failed to mention Romo for some reason or another.
Yeah, purposely. No, I'm not looking at the tweets right now. I figured one of you guys would pull those up and look at them, but
Dak Prescott,
Yeah.
Jalen
Phillip-
Hurts,
Phillip
Joe
Rivers.
Burrow. Joe Burrow is overrated. Who is this guy?
a lot of Herbert on there. Yeah.
Philip Rivers.
That's a weird one. Someone said Warren Sapp. That's kind of interesting, actually.
It is interesting because I think some of these guys, like when they get, that big, when you celebrate, you probably get talked about more, right? And people think you're better
Yeah.
than maybe what you are. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people said
Bo Jackson's
But-
actually probably good.
I think Bo
That's a
Jackson's
good one. That's a really
Like
good one.
Go ahead.
because I think Steve Young has more rushing yards than Bo Jackson. Is that correct?
I think when you're talking about him as a NFL player, right? Not as a college player, as an
Yeah.
NFL player, I think he became this larger than life. And even recently, since the 30 for 30, I think he's become almost even more overrated.
Well,
Yeah.
and
No,
the
I
other
agree.
thing too is I think some of these guys are calling out some of the players on their teams, like Seth. Michael Bennett was actually a pretty good defensive lineman. I could not stand him. And it was so hard for me because I watched them all the time and everyone was saying that he was good at the time, but I thought he was extremely overrated just because I just didn't like, he would always get penalties. He was always jumping off
Yeah.
sides. Do you get what I'm saying a little bit? But during that
Mhm.
time, his stats, I believe he was actually a pretty good defensive lineman, but I just thought he
Yeah.
was so overrated and everyone overhyped him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, yeah, for sure. I agree with you there. I think a lot of people on the tweet, though, just definitely said a lot of people that they just don't like. I think there's some people maybe who had like legit takes, but like people saying Tom Brady, I'm like, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. Like, that's just like, you're just, you're like shouting at the ocean, like who you talking to?
I've
like,
seen you do that before, Seth.
yeah, but at least maybe there was a whale out there. I don't know. But like, dude, it's like, it's just some of these are just like you just say players you don't like. It just doesn't make any sense.
I
But-
have two favorite tweets on this whole thing, Trent. My
Okay.
first favorite is the reply that someone put Bubba Wallace, and then I know you don't watch NASCAR and you put wrong sport but hard to argue with, but I agree, Bubba Wallace overrated.
Okay.
And then the second one was, it's just cool that Mina Kimes quote tweeted you. That quote tweeted the account. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had my buddy Andrew in Australia shout me out. He's like, "Hey, Mina Kimes just retweeted you," and I was like, "What in the world?" Like, I had no, because when you go that big on Twitter, like, I don't want to brag or anything. You really like your phone just has 20 notifications every time you open it, and you can't really keep up with it. It's quite a thrill, honestly. I've been chasing that high since Thursday, guys.
Can
so
I give my diva of the week right now, please?
sure give it.
For the
why
love
can't you
of all
wait?
things, Trent has not talked about anything else besides this tweet for the last, I don't know, 7 days straight since he tweeted this thing. I saw him and he was just acting like he hadn't gotten any sleep because he was just spending all his day responding to these tweets. And I'm like, dude, I get it. Like, I'm stoked on it too. It's great for the pod, great exposure, but this guy is acting like he just signed a deal with Nike. Like, hey, I'm very proud of him. I
Trent
think it was a
would
great
never.
tweet, got a lot of exposure, but the guy is acting like he's the president of the United States being called into all
He
these
signed a
various
deal with
Twitter meetings.
Buc-ee's. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
yes. The
I
dude
reached out
thinks
to
he has
Buc-ee's, and I asked for a key to the city, and neither one has gotten back to me.
he thinks he has like a standing meeting with Elon Musk every Monday at 9 a.m. Like, dude, you had one tweet.
For
This
all
guy's
our
getting too
followers,
big
this is
for
a
his
total
britches.
lie. This is a total lie for all our
This
followers.
guy is getting too big for his britches, Jordan. You have to admit, like,
I'm offended Jordan doesn't think I watch NASCAR. Most people looking at me think I watch NASCAR.
You don't watch
He went out there and just
NASCAR.
totally lied. He
I
totally
know
lied
you
to
don't watch
everybody else.
NASCAR.
Okay, fine. Whatever. So enough with the tweet. We'll stop talking about that
The
now.
croc
Since
charms
we
with
got
the 24 on them. They don't.
That's
scream
cool that
NASCAR.
Tony Jefferson quote tweeted too.
Tony
That's
Jefferson
the NFL
did.
player, right? That's the NFL player, right?
I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah.
know. It got what's his name? Reception Perception retweeted it. So yeah, give us a follow on Twitter at tffdudes. We do some fun stuff on there, and I'm hoping to have fun enough tweets that we will bring them up on the pod also. But let's break this huddle. Let's get over to some news here, and kind of some news going on in the NFL right now. Hip drop tackle, Phill. You played a little bit of secondary and you're growing up. You played some kickoff in college football. The hip drop tackle, like. I know you have tackled someone like that, Phill.
Yes, I say this all the time. And I think Richard Sherman, interestingly enough, he agreed with me. Like, if you're a smaller dude, it is actually pretty hard to try and also if someone's running ahead of you, how are you supposed to tackle them forward? You have to lean. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Were you the person who ended up retweeting that video of the DK Metcalf tackle would have been a hip tackle? I think you retweeted that, right?
When he chases Buda Baker down.
Yes, correct. It's just what are we doing here? I will say, a prophet is not known in his own home. There have been so many tweets saying that we're just moving to flag football, and it makes me mad that so many people are now agreeing with you, even though you've been saying that for the last 9 to 12 months. So I think there's some validity to it. It's frankly exhausting.
So what I will say is I saw a tweet also that said Bo Jackson would have never got injured playing football if this was a rule 20 years ago. It's no, the guy still would have tackled Bo Jackson like that. They're saying this is going to cut back on injuries. It's not going to cut back on injuries. I think it happened 260 times this past season. So it happens one time a game. Hey, if a guy's going to score a touchdown and the only way you can bring him down is by a hip drop tackle, you're going to just say, hey, what's another 15 yards? He's already got the first down. I'm going to do the hip drop tackle. It's the silliest thing. And the guy explaining the rule had trouble even explaining the rule. He's like, no, it's only if they do the swivel and bring him down. He's like, it's not going to get called that much. The whole thing is just a total mess, this hip drop tackle. It's just another way for, the NFL to give a win to Mahomes at the end of a game or something like that.
Yeah.
What?
Well, no.
It's going to be really subjective. It's going to be subjective, and it's sometimes going to get called and you'll be like, that's not what it is. And sometimes it's not going to get called and people are going to be outraged. It's like when Patrick Mahomes gets slapped in the face, they're like helmet to helmet, or hands to the face or whatever. And he barely got slapped, I don't know. It's going to be really subjective.
Well, even just thinking about that, Seth, how many times have you had, you've wrapped up a runner, a defensive lineman comes, grabs up a runner, they have them wrap their arms around from the back, and they lean forward to try and gain another yard, and then they fall down to the side. Is that a hip tackle, even though the runner was the one who kind of forced it?
Yeah, well, it's like what you said earlier too. It's like when you're grabbing a guy, what do? You just grab him and hold on for dear life? No, what you do is to bring a guy down, you actually have to shift your body weight. And guess what? When you're tackling a guy from behind, the best way to shift your body weight is to move your hips. That's Correct. How you tackle people. That's literally how you're taught since you start playing football, how to tackle someone from behind, because it's actually harder to tackle somebody head on and you just get ran over more than likely.
Well, and the other thing too is people are just going to be diving at dudes' ankles as they're running past. That almost seems worse to me.
I don't know. Probably more ACL injuries. We'll see.
Yeah. I would have liked them to have tackled turf before they did this. And it's I understand we want to see the best players play, all this stuff, but this is another rule that, it doesn't help the defense at all. I think the same amount of hip drop tackles are going to happen next year. I don't think that this rule is going to stop the hip drop tackle from happening. I don't think guys try to do it. I think it's just, I'm hanging on for my life and I have to get this guy down. So I think it's still going to happen. And, it's either the guy scores a touchdown or he just gets another 15 yards in the first down. So what they should have stopped, this is and what's going to drive me more crazy is it's going to be more fining after the play happens. So the ref's going to miss it. because I don't think refs are really going to call it unless a guy pretends he's hurt or something. And the NFL is going to, get a FedEx box and say, oh, this guy, did the hip drop tackle, so he's going to get fined the following day, even though it doesn't get called. That's the stuff that drives me crazy, is when they fine guys for stuff that's not called. It's like, cameras on stoplights. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to get me a ticket for running a red light, put a guy there and let him catch me. Don't do all this automated stuff where I think I got away scotch-free 6 months later. I got a ticket in the mail. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that mean, or is this not a bad example?
Scott.
Like,
Scot-free, not scotch tape, Trent. Scot-free.
Lean into it.
Anyways,
though, Trent. I like how you say.
You guys understand what I'm saying there? Like, make them earn the fine. Like, don't just like, hey, after we saw how social media reacted, this was a hip drop tackle, send him a $20,000 fine. Just like what they do with the head-to-head helmets. You should not be able to fine players unless it's extremely gross, in my opinion.
Or if it's like severely intentional, or if it's not a flag. If it's not a flag, you shouldn't be getting fined.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be getting fined for no flags.
I can't believe that you guys aren't agreeing with, my traffic take. That's what I'm saying. Especially you, Seth. You're the guy that's
Seth did talk about that. No. He talked about that last week in Portland, didn't you, Seth? About the tickets?
Like the cameras that send you a ticket later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
It's been discussed, Trent.
Trent, we were laughing at your lack of verbiage in the right context. That's what we were laughing at.
Okay.
Scotch dog.
Also, let's talk about kickoff, Jordan. You had some interesting takes about kickoff. This is not our dad's. We'll be able to tell our kids, like, yeah, kickoff wasn't like this when I played back in the day. You know what I'm saying, Phill? Like,
ooh, that's some good ammo right there.
Don't you? It's good ammo, right?
Mm-hmm. It's good ammo.
I mean, this is equivalent, to our grandparents playing with leather helmets. We played kickoff.
Phill played real man's college kickoff.
Let's go, baby.
Exactly. Yeah.
College kickoff.
I was concussed because of the way that those setups were, because of the way those kickoffs were set up. But this one is, I want to hear a little bit about what Jordan says. I actually don't mind it.
So they can't make kickoff worse, in my opinion.
If they're keeping the ball in play, I like it.
Yeah. So I think this is great. I think you're going to see a lot more returns. You definitely sacrifice the surprise onside kick, which kind of sucks.
That's a big deal.
Until the fourth quarter, right?
But no, you still have to declare you're going to do an onside kick.
No surprise.
I thought there was a surprise in the fourth quarter.
No, Phill, because where you line up, right? You line up in a different spot for an onside kick than you would for this kickoff. So, but let's be honest, that's like happens maybe like 0.5% of kickoffs are surprise onside kicks. Like, this
that changed the Super Bowl outcome.
I understand that, but also kickoffs are boring. They never get returned. You're gonna see guys take the ball out of the end zone. Like, they're gonna catch it 4 yards deep in the end zone and still take it out because they think they can get a return here. So, both teams can't move till the ball's caught. Like, I think it's gonna be awesome.
That part is kind of annoying.
But Phill, it's going to be entertaining. Don't you want kickoff return touchdowns? Don't you want kickoffs to actually be fun again?
Yeah, but they can't run until the ball is caught. That seems kind of lame.
Seems kind of elementary.
No, Phill, they line up down at the 30. They don't line up at normal kickoff spot.
So
you never watched the XFL?
They line up 5 yards apart now, Phill. And once the ball's caught, they run. So everybody's in one line. There's no more wedge busters, none of that stuff. But
they're down they line up like close.
It's almost going to be like a rugby scrum, which is kind of
it's gonna be awesome. And I think from a fantasy perspective, I think you might need to put more emphasis on your special teams a little bit here, and you want to make sure you may be taking a team with a good kick returner.
You want me to? No, I'm sorry. Keep going, Jordan. Keep going. Sorry, I'll read the rules.
So I just think that there are some fantasy implications of this. Like, special teams might be important. You might want to think about a team with good kick returners, electric kick returners. Like, think about how much Devin Hester or a Dante Hall back with the Chiefs, how good they were back then imagine them net with these rules now. Like those guys would have been elite fantasy producers on their own because I think you're going to see a lot more kickoff return touchdowns with this new rule. Guys are going to be more willing to take it out from the end zone. You're going to get more returns. You might see a lot more kickers on an island by themselves. I don't know. That should be interesting.
No, I think
But,
this turns. It's almost like early century wars. Like these guys are just lining up in front of each other and basically going head to head. Like you are about to get exposed. Like the kickoff return, the kickoff return guys. Their job has never been more important now. Like
no, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun.
Can you imagine just breaking through that line and just absolutely smoking the returner? Like that is entirely possible as he catches it, just blitzing past that, getting past that line. Like this could be, it actually could be pretty cool. You know,
it's going to be, I think it's a good rule change. I think
you've convinced me.
Okay. I still like the kickoff, what it was, early 2000s. That's still my favorite. I don't think I'm going to be able to
but we're never going to go back there, right? Never gonna go back.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Well, I know, but
so here's the basic rules. NFL's hybrid kickoff basic rules. I'm on the athletic zone rules. The ball has to be returned if kicked into the landing zone. The landing zone is from the 20 to the end zone. Okay. And then if the ball is kicked short of the landing zone or out of bounds, it will be placed on the 40-yard line. The ball can still be returned if it rolls to the end zone or kicked to the end zone through the air. If the ball is kicked into the landing zone, rolls in the end zone, and gets down by the kickoff team, will be placed at the 20-yard line. If the ball is kicked through the air to the end zone and gets downed, it will be placed at the 30-yard line. So the procedure of it, every member of the coverage team, kicking team, aside from the kicker, has to have 1 foot on the 40-yard line. The coverage team cannot move until the ball is touched by return team or hit the ground in the landing zone. The return team can have 9 to 10 players blocking in the setup zone. And the setup zone is the 30-yard line right there, the 35. Man, I thought it's really close. Like I thought it was the other 30. Oh, the kicker kicks from the other 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's from the 35, right?
Yeah, the opposite 35.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's
the
kicker's definitely on the island way back there.
So think about this. If the guy gets it in the end zone, returner catches it in the end zone, the nearest blocker and kickoff guy are still 35 yards ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
So he's routinely gonna be able to get the ball out to the 25, right? 25-yard line, 30-yard line. Like you're gonna see a lot more, and the kickoff guys aren't gonna be able to get full head of steam going downhill to go tackle them. So I think I'm a big fan of this rule change.
Yeah, I would love to see Phill play on this.
I disagree with you that they're not going to be able to get full steam ahead, but it's gonna.
Phill, how are they going to go full steam ahead from the 40?
They take off at a sprint.
Yes, but they're going to have guys 10 yards in front of them trying to block them.
It's 5 yards,
and then,
I think
5 yards. 5 yards.
You're going to see guys be able to juke through that in the same way that you see gunners on punts just completely blitz downfield. Like I think that's, and now they are running a farther distance. They are running a farther distance, but they're still being blocked and they're getting down quick is what I'm saying.
Well, my point though is that like the returner has an advantage here 100% though.
Yes, I agree with you there. Yeah. I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be cool. I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be, I think it will expose some of the return guys though. Like you can get absolutely destroyed or just completely miss a block and your returner can get absolutely destroyed. I also think to some extent, you're probably going to have a guy who's probably not as valuable, but then has like more of that Devin Hester role that you were talking about, Jordan, that's going to be on the kickoff team, which kind of opens up an additional special team spot when you really think about it for when they're setting their roster.
Yeah, Cordero Patterson signed with the Steelers today.
No, he's a guy. Is that a coincidence that he got signed the day that this rule was announced? It's
Arthur Smith. Yeah, Arthur Smith's there too, right? But no, I think it's for kickoff. Absolutely,
it's
for
100%.
Kickoff.
Like that's not a coincidence that the rule was changed. he gets signed. He's an elite kickoff return guy.
Yeah, and the other thing they have is okay, return team cannot move until the ball is touched or hit the ground. Presumably, a referee will signal when they can move since their backs will be against the landing zone.
They're just gonna have a guy guaranteed, like being like kind of like looking, kind of just keeping a hand maybe on one of his guys and looking, and then yelling, just kind of how you would yell. What is the
Domino
word?
effect.
What is the word that I'm looking for on a punt?
Peter.
Fire.
No, no. But the thing is I think that these guys. When can the kickoff team run once the ball hits the ground? Right. I think you run once the guy in front of you runs.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I would do.
I would imagine it would be off sides if that happens.
If they go too early, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like having a ref signal.
You're gonna see some kinks in the preseason, but
yes,
it'll be good because the preseason will be for.
I'm wondering if they adjust this midseason. Seth, what's your take on this kickoff thing?
I think it's great.
Okay.
I'm excited to see it happen. I am interested though when college and maybe high school will adopt it though. Like how soon will it take?
I think it's
for
going
them
to be a
follow suit?
while.
Why would it be different though?
College has so many more players on their rosters. Why I think they'll take a while to change. And then high school, I don't know.
High school,
I feel like
it's
refs
harder to kick the ball that deep, probably.
Yeah, and I feel like refs have a hard
here's the reason why
it is in high school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the application of like there's less refs, less teams at the NFL level. I mean, to have this change this for high school and college is just so much logistics that I think would be very difficult. You might see it in college, but at some point, but like the high school level, it'd be really hard to implement this change, I think.
Yeah, I hate not being able to onside kick it whenever you want. I wish there was a way that they could. How do you onside kick it? The kicker's so far back. I feel like you should be able to clarify to do it whenever you want, not only fourth quarter.
Yes. Yeah, that's
yeah. I also think that like the onside kick is used a lot more in high school and college game than it is in the NFL game.
Yeah,
like you just don't see onside kicks. Yeah.
Well, they've changed the rules where you can't run or anything, so it's really
it pretty much is really hard to recover one.
Yeah, onside kick won't be in the NFL much longer. I don't think they're going to go that 4th and 15 or something.
Yeah, that's full XFL.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. Other news that we've had this week: Lions are releasing a new uniform. They're going to do it before the draft. The draft's in Detroit, so they're going to drop a new uniform. Also, I don't know if it's going to be kind of retro or how they're going to do that. Also, stuff we got going on here.
The Texans, I think, are getting new jerseys, right?
I believe I heard something like that. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Seth. You're right. I think
the Texans have a whole new rebrand thing.
Yeah, they unveiled them last week, though, right? I think, Seth?
Yes, they accidentally released it. They didn't do it on accident. They just released a tease on Reddit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like them that much, honestly. I don't like the
looks
numbers.
Like the Bengals uniforms almost to me. Do you see what I'm saying there?
I kind of do.
I'll look it up.
Have you seen him, Seth? You've seen him. You just don't remember him. I wasn't huge on the numbers. Everything else I thought was cool. I thought the shoulder pads looked cool on it, though. Other things I thought we should talk about, like, who do you think's winning the offseason so far, guys? Like, you got Falcons. I feel like the Titans have like kind of come out of nowhere where they're putting a lot of, they went out and got a running back, for a decent price, Tony Pollard. They spent a bunch of money on Calvin Ridley. They got Snead from the Chiefs. I believe they got a new center. Like, I think the Titans are, like, they're going to know in a year whether Will Levis is their guy or not. Like, I think they put enough out there that, he needs to put up or shut up. I'm kind of excited to see what the Titans do this year. Like, I have Levis in dynasty football, and I'm hoping that's not polluting my thoughts on him, where maybe I'm too optimistic. I said that I sent a text out to our group that said, does the AFC South go through Nashville this year? Jordan isn't very optimistic on that, being a Jaguars fan. He doesn't, but Jordan, you're not a huge Levis guy either, though. I think they're giving Levis every opportunity to say whether he's the guy or not. I know Treylon Burks hasn't been good so far, maybe he finally puts it together, with the new coach, maybe Levis. I'm kind of excited to see Tennessee. I'm excited with all the moves they've done. So
maybe it's Malik Willis.
It's not Malik Willis, I don't think. I think he's the second string, maybe the third. That was short-lived, but yeah. What are you
really high on the Titans? I threw that joke in there. You're kind of on a roll. Are you really high on the Titans right now, Trent?
I am high on the Titans. Jordan loved Calvin Ridley. I'm not a huge Calvin Ridley guy, but Jordan, I don't know if he is now that he's a Titan, but Jordan's always been a Calvin Ridley guy. I won't draft him,
you know what?
Just to make
I'm
good.
really happy. I'm waiting for the Trent to say Titans top 5 offensive.
No, I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to do that.
It works out well. Like he kind of puts the curse on them. Last year did it with the Falcons, didn't work out too well. Do it for the Titans, Trent. Be all over the Titans.
I'm a year early,
and then you'll end up making them not any good this year. So yeah, go for it.
I got Tajay Spears and I got Will Levis, so I'm pretty excited about this team. I want to watch him. Snead, I feel like they got Snead for pretty cheap. They might have to pay him or something at some point. Kansas City's, they'll just, develop another guy in the draft or something. Seth, what are you, other than eating bananas just like Will Levis, what do you think about the Titans? Have you seen how he does that? He eats the whole peel.
I do not do that. Okay. First of all. Second of all, the Titans, I don't think are going to be any good. I don't think so.
I don't know. I think you could be wrong. And then, I don't know. I'm excited for him. Phill decided, I don't know if what he had to do. Maybe he had to go get something out of the fridge. Maybe he got a little hungry.
I don't know if I'm bought in on Levis yet. Maybe that's what it is.
You're not bought in. He had a really good game against the Jaguars last year, right? Where he just, went scorched earth on him, looked really good. He's shown some glimpses of being okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not ready to count him out there. But
yeah, I guess I'll just have to see. This year will obviously prove it, right? If he can stay healthy. So
yeah. Also, guys, we're doing a mock draft, but Underdog already has best ball drafts ready. I don't know how that works with rookies, Jordan. Can you do it? Can you draft rookies not knowing what team they're on?
Probably a no rookie draft.
Okay, so I did hear they have best ball drafts ready for the NFL. So head over to Underdog Sports, guys. Enter promo code DUDES. They'll match you up to $100. Best ball is a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot of them on the pod. I think we're going to wait till after the draft. Best ball is fun. You just, draft them and forget them. They let you know when you win. So promo code DUDES. They will match you up to $100, guys. Underdog is a lot of fun. Go check that out. But with all that being, do we got more NFL, any more news we kind of want to cover here? I got Titans winning the offseason, RIP surprise onside kick, no more drop tackles. There's some draft rumors that JJ McCarthy, we're doing our QB rookie preview next week. We're going to preview each skill position up to the draft. Harbaugh, he doubled down on, McCarthy having the best pro day he'd ever seen. A lot of rumors that McCarthy's going to go number 2 overall to the Commanders. You look at these guys' stats. He just hasn't thrown the ball enough to I want to get excited for him. I'm ready to jump on a bandwagon of some one of these rookie quarterbacks.
No, you aren't. Not McCarthy, Trent.
He's shown some national championship. No, but the thing is, you look at his stats, it's 190 yards, 180 yards, 140 yards. There's just not enough. I wish he played on a different. He did have a decent Fiesta Bowl 2 years ago when they played TCU. He let him on that big comeback. Maybe they were stealing signs, but he made some good throws in that game. They just didn't need him. He went through the ball 8 times versus Penn State this past season in the win. But
where is this coming from, Jordan?
What
JJ McCarthy?
This JJ McCarthy love from Trent.
I'm just
trying to. I'm just bizarre.
I'm just buying into the hype. I'm getting hurt. I'm ready to be hurt. I'm trying to make
just
sense
pulling
of
out
it, guys.
wild.
This guy is going he loves Will Levis, loves JJ McCarthy. I can't wait for next week now just to see him try to evaluate QBs because I don't know if it goes over. He thought Desmond Ridder was the next coming of Peyton Manning. I don't know.
Jordan, relax.
Your evaluation of
Rosen
QBs
was
is
the
not
steal of the draft. You thought Josh Rosen was the steal of the draft at one point. We've all We've all said crazy things. It just wasn't recorded. Seth thought that,
I
never
do
mind,
not
I'm gonna-
recall
that's not
saying that.
appropriate. I have witnesses of you loving Josh Rosen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I can't believe you just went on
Phil
like a
Phil
love
loves
fest.
Deshaun Kaiser, because he
I
loves
can't
Notre
believe
Dame so much.
no, I can't believe how much you love McCarthy right now. That's it to me. It's wild.
I'm trying to make sense of the situation, Phil. That's all I'm doing.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Let's do this mock
Whatever.
draft before I just completely lose all. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So we'll get into this mock draft. Today's mock draft is presented to you by Sleeper. Sleeper is the absolute best place to play fantasy football. You can do all your dynasty leagues in there. You can do all your fantasy leagues in there. They got a group chat, in case you have people that aren't in a group text. You can chat right there within the app. Take your whole fantasy league over there. They also have some dynamic payouts, for some fun DFS fun there. They'll match up to $100. Enter promo code DUDES100, guys. Head over to Sleeper. Lots of fun in there. You can have your DFS in there and your fantasy and your dynasty, all the good stuff. And one of my favorite things, they got mock drafts in there also, guys. So, guys, have you all taken the invite to the mock draft and claimed a position? I see Seth in there. I'm going to claim the number 1 spot here, just so we don't have. This is an 8-round draft, so it won't be too long. And we have 10 teams in it.
No
So
college players.
No college players. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Thought it'd be fun. So I'm gonna I'm gonna throw this up in there so you can follow. You can follow along, watch the whole draft board on YouTube at tffdudes. Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes. Really helps us out, guys. And yeah. So let me pull this up right here. We will start this thing off. And you guys see the draft board right now? We good?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
We're all good here. Okay, let me fix the background here, and I am going to start this draft now. All right, I have the number 1 pick here, and I think I'm just gonna go. I don't know who the quarterback is. Half point PPR. I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson.
Next pick was Christian McCaffrey. I think I am going to go with
Austin Eckler.
No, I'm going with Jamar Chase.
Man,
Team
the
forward
Austin
Travis Kelce.
the Austin Eckler thing is interesting. Like, man,
At the Commanders.
yeah.
But so
I don't think
high
I
is kinda
trust it,
crazy,
though.
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Trent, is this standard half point? What is this?
A half point PPR.
I'm gonna go Tyreek. So you go
All right.
Barkley,
That
Eckler,
Yeah.
Bijan,
Right.
Nick Chubb.
4 running backs in a row. And that throws me down. It wants me to take Derrick Henry, but I think this being half point PPR, I think the best receiver on the board here is CeeDee Lamb. So I'm going to go CD, and I have another one to go here. And I think I'm going to stick with it here, and I think St. Brown's gonna have another good season, so I'm gonna take St. Brown here.
That's a lot of value at receiver there. Jordan, have you been, sorry, I was messing with the screen here and pulling up on my phone so you don't see all I'm clicking. Have you been, kind of saying who's getting picked where and stuff like that?
A little bit.
Okay, so it went Derrick Henry after St. Do you like Derrick Henry right there at 2-2?
No.
Has the ADP
what I mean.
updated? They haven't updated they haven't adjusted the ADP. Is this last year's?
Yeah, I think this is last year's projection. I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are mocking right now, but so it went Derrick Henry, Stephon Diggs at 2-3, which I really don't like because I don't know where he's going to play this year. I guess you're assuming he's in Buffalo. Then Patrick Mahomes is the first QB off the board at 2-4. So you got Patrick Mahomes and Austin Eckler at team 7, followed by Josh Jacobs. So team 6 has Jacobs and Saquon. Just so you know, this is 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, and 2 flex. Okay, that's what we're doing right here. 8 starters, 8 rounds. Jordan's on the clock here. He already has Tyreek Hill.
I'm gonna go. I'm going to go AJ Brown.
The
I like it,
AJ
Jordy.
Brown, Hill. Team 4 had Travis Kelce. They took Cooper Kupp with their second pick at 2-7. Phil, who has Jamar Chase, is up.
Yeah, I think. Do you think this year that Nakua goes before Cup? I think we talked about it, right?
I don't know. We have, but I don't know if. What would you do with that, Jordan? I don't know, Phil. I think I like Nakua more.
It's just
Yeah, I think I like Puka too.
It's just I think this is
Interesting
one
to
of the
see what
things too
happens.
why I think it's I don't even think Nakua is going to show up on this board unless one of us picks him.
He's 255, 225 ADP on here. So yeah, this is all last year's ADP up on Sleeper right now.
Yeah. All right. I have
Take
about
a
a
reach,
minute
Phil.
left. I don't want to
Take a reach on Puka. I don't think that's bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not drafting off last year.
No. I know. I am
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
no
think
one's gonna.
I want to get one that I like. I'm going to just go with Devontae.
Okay, Devontae followed by Josh Allen. I'm gonna with receivers. I think I'm gonna take. Let's see here. Where we at? I'm gonna take Garrett Wilson. So I'm gonna have Garrett Wilson and Justin Jefferson. A lot of quarterback options still. And I'm gonna reach, Phil, because I don't care. I don't care what people think about me.
You're taking Nakua. You're welcome.
Yeah, 255 is really far down there, though.
You could just do a search bar. Just
That's
pop
what
it
I
in there.
did. So I had Puka. So I got Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nakua. Team 2 took Joe Mixon. Phil's back on the clock here.
So one of the things that I want to see where this guy is.
So,
All right,
Phil, you have 2 wide receivers.
I got 2 wide receivers. I think I'm going to go with I'm going to see what we have here just in regards to running backs. Excuse me, quarterbacks. I think I'm going to go with a quarterback here. I like Jalen Hurts here, and mostly because I think he's still going to be scoring a lot of TDs. Tush Push is still alive and well, and I think we're going to be it's going to be Jalen Hurts TD season again.
I did not think that the tush push would stay and the hip drop tackle would end, especially how, the players were so against it, all those tweets and stuff like that. So Jalen Hurts followed by Ramondre Stevenson. Jordan, you're back on the clock. Jordan has Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown.
And I'm going to go Chris Olave.
Nice. All right. Chris Olave followed by Najee Harris, Tony Pollard, Jahmyr Gibbs, Mark Andrews, and Seth's back on the clock. Seth has CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I actually really like Seth's team right there on the end. I think CD.
Oh man,
no way CD falls to 10 this season.
No,
What do you
no
got,
way.
Seth?
I think I'm gonna go running back here. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna go running back. I'm gonna go Breece Hall. I think the Jets are gonna have a good year. His 2 running back, correct?
2 running back, 2
Okay,
flex.
Jonathan Taylor, I think, also is
Dang
gonna
it,
slow
Seth.
to come back.
Yes,
Nice.
absolutely. That was a great pick right there.
All right,
we
Jonathan,
see him in the 4th? Do you think we see him in the 4th round this year? I think we got him a little bit late, right? I think he probably goes late. Well,
No, this is the last year's ADP. I think he's gonna be out.
yeah,
you think it's last year? You think it's into the season?
it might be
it's last year's.
It's got to be in last year, huh?
but he,
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's why he's so far down because he's suspension.
you
Or he
definitely
wasn't playing,
go
sorry.
what, middle 3? Do you think, or do you think he's in 2 still?
I think he's back into the 2, 3rd, I think.
If you
All
get
right.
him in the 3rd, you're happy, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Especially if he's your first running back off the board. Now that you say that, I don't know if you will get him in the 3rd, Phil. A guy they paid a bunch of money. So Jonathan Taylor was followed by Jalen Waddle, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, T. Higgins, Jordan's on the clock here. Jordan has Olave, A.J. Brown, and Tyreek Hill. These 10-team leagues, are fun.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go DJ Moore. I was really tempted between a healthy Christian Watson or DJ Moore, but I'll go a little bit safer with DJ Moore and with Caleb Williams there.
All right, Phil's on the clock.
I probably could have waited. I went with Kyron.
I don't know. I think Kyron there. I think that's fine.
Kyron honestly might be a first-round draft pick this year.
I think we
all forgot about him. He probably is going to go in with
this crazy
first,
ADP.
second for sure.
Yeah.
Looking at running backs,
where do you guys think Nick Chubb's going to go? Coming off the ACL,
I think he's still going to be a top 5 running back picked.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think so.
I think front 3. I think people will be afraid of his.
I think the people will be afraid too.
I took Joe Burrow, and then running backs are not fun. Rashad White. There's no way Rashad White goes that late, but you all have the opportunity to get him too.
Chance.
Aaron Jones. Phil's back on the clock.
I am back on the clock.
People are going to see these draft boards and be like, was this a 4-person draft? Last year you would have been real happy with what I have here with Jefferson, Garrett Wilson. People would have looked at me like I had 3 eyes on my head.
Because they would have
third.
They would have looked like you. Like, what's wrong with you, Puka in the third?
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be like, what
Burrow
do you know
in the
that
4th
I know?
and Rashad in the 5th is pretty common, I would assume.
No, Rashad didn't go that high last year in the 5th, did he?
You're right. He was like 10th, 8th to 10th, I would say.
Yeah,
maybe even later.
I thought he was a little bit.
We got Divas after this. Phil has some dudes decides he wants to do. Phil took DeAndre Swift.
Although he's the main guy in Chicago right now, right? Does he have a backup?
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that. He's the main guy. He doesn't have a backup. They might be decent this year. I'm okay with it.
I'm going to go with – I don't love having 2 Saints, but I'm going to go Alvin Kamara.
All right. So, Jordan, you had Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Chris Olave, DJ Moore, Alvin Kamara. He was followed by Calvin Ridley, J.K. Dobbins, D.K. Metcalf, Damian Pierce. Seth is on the clock. I'm thinking he's to take like Zach Charbonnet.
Here's the problem with these drafts, this mock draft trend is like J.K. Dobbins is a free agent. Damian Pierce is not like the guy there. It's interesting.
Yeah, I thought he tried. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go Keenan Allen here.
Let's go.
Caleb Williams, I hope you're good. At least for this. I don't think it's a terrible idea to reach for a tight end here. And I'm gonna go George Kittle.
Okay.
I don't think you're in a bad spot there.
All right. Kittle was followed. What do we got here? Went Kittle, Fields. Yeah, Fields definitely isn't getting drafted. Herbert, TJ Hawkinson, Miles Sanders, Jordan, you're up. I wonder when they update these.
I don't know when they do.
The same.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Isaiah Pacheco.
I am going with.
I'm going to break some hearts here with my pick. Go, Phil.
Cam Makers. Oh, that's hilarious.
I can't. Oh, man. I think I could probably get this guy a little bit later. So I'm gonna go with someone else. Oh man, hold on one sec. He's just an absolute stud. He's been reliable. Just overall great player. I think he's gonna have another great year. Michael Pittman.
So looking at this, it's just pretty crazy. But like Mike Evans was going after Mike Williams, so I'm gonna take Mike Evans here in the 6th.
That's good.
And then I got to get another running back here, which is not fun. Wait, what
what's
are you
funny
thinking
is
about?
They have rookies showing up here. We should have done
Yeah.
rookies.
Yeah, I see Zeke Elliott on here. I should probably just for the brand take him, honestly. I'm going to go James Conner there, then followed by Alexander Madison was the next guy off the board. Phil's back up here.
I am going with I'm going with my boy Laporta.
That's pretty nice,
Laporta.
Phil. I don't have a tight end. I got to get one. Who you got here, Jordan? What are you doing? You took Pacheco over there. It's pretty nice.
It's can I all right, let me see here. What do we got here at tight end? Darren Waller retired. We didn't mention that, Trent. Darren Waller
Did he for sure
retired.
retire? I heard he was thinking about it. He retired?
Oh, I thought he retired. I'm gonna go with Evan Ingram here at tight end. Just for fun.
I did not realize that.
No,
I
he
thought-
did. I don't
yeah.
think
So
he
he's
did.
still undecided. Yeah, he's still undecided.
Are you sure? Really? I thought I saw
Yeah.
he did.
If you click on his name,
Undecided about playing or retiring as of yesterday. Giants Darren Waller remains undecided on playing in 2024. 14 hours ago, Darren Waller still undecided on retirement.
all right. So Darren Waller went right after Evan Ingram, Mike Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, Terry McLaurin. What do you got here, Seth? The one thing we haven't talked about is Sam Howell. Can he start over Geno? Is that a possibility that happens?
Not only is it a possibility, but I think he will at some point. By game 3, he will be the starter.
Especially with the new coach.
I was thinking Christian Watson here, but I am not going to. I'm actually going to go Drake London,
Nice.
and then okay, I got another. I need a QB here now, so I'm going to next QB on the board. I'll go Trevor Lawrence. I'm okay with that.
Trevor Lawrence, followed by Christian Watson, Dallas Goedert, Chris Godwin, Deshaun Watson got snagged right before Jordan, unfortunately. What do you got next here, Jordan? You do not have
I'll
a
be
quarterback.
honest. I don't love the quarterbacks on the board. I don't love Dak. I don't. Tua, I guess. I honestly probably should take Tua here to pair with Tyreek. Rodgers coming off the Achilles. I don't believe in Anthony Richardson like Trent does. Kirk Cousins coming off the Achilles. Achilles. We got Geno, Daniel Jones. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going here.
Did you go?
The truth, Caleb Williams, baby.
I was going to pick a rookie too, Jordan.
Pair
Okay.
him up with DJ Moore. Let's go.
Marvin Harrison. That's probably about where Caleb Williams will go, right? You think he'll go earlier?
We'll see what the hype is on him, but yeah, he might. Because I think that Bears offense is kind of like ready-made to succeed. So
yeah, you guys have the same cell phone, so I get it.
I should
Okay,
have taken
followed
Odunze.
Javonte Williams, Phill took Marvin Harrison. Kyle Pitts went right before me, just got absolutely sniped right there. I think I can't
Brock
take Bowers. As much as I want to take Brock Bowers, this guy's going to be the steal. This guy's going off. I might just, release it right now. Might do to the year. Like, I think Kincaid is going to be the absolute man this season. I think Kincaid, I'm going to take him everywhere I can, Dalton Kincaid. So just looking back at the what, Phill?
I thought you were going to say Dalton Schultz because I also think that you feel like he's going to have a pretty solid year. They just they extended his contract, right? Or did they franchise tag him?
I'm not sure what they've done with that, but I think Dalton
They extended him.
Dalton can, I think, to be really good. With no Gabe Davis, I think he's, he showed a lot of signs last year too. Like that tight end class last year was pretty amazing. But just looking back at this, I'll recap my team. I had Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Puka Nacua, Joe Burrow, Rashad White, Mike Evans, James Conner, which a pick I didn't really like, and then Dalton Kincaid. Phill, you want to read your team real quick, then everyone can go through.
Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Jalen Hurts, Kyron Williams, DeAndre Swift, Michael Pittman, Sam Laporta, and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Jordan.
Yeah, I had Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Chris Olave, DJ Moore, Alvin Kamara, Isaiah Pacheco, Evan Ingram, and then the rookie Caleb Williams.
All right,
Seth.
I had pick 10. I had CeeDee Lamb, Amon St. Brown, Brees Hall, Jonathan Taylor, Keenan Allen, George Kittle, Drake London, and Trevor Lawrence.
All right, guys, that was our first mock draft of the year. We'll get more of these, best ball drafts going and stuff like that too. Thanks for tuning in with all that. Let us know who won that mock draft, and let's we can hop into divas here right now if that's what you guys are thinking, and then we can go into Phil's dudes decide. But divas, that's just stuff of guys we think that wasn't cool or whatever. Today's divas are brought to you by Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack is the absolute best place to get your fantasy football trophies, guys. Go to trophysmack.com/dudes for 15% off your whole entire order. They can customize trophies and all that stuff, from trophies, medals, last place awards, everything. Go to trophysmack.com/dudes for all your fantasy football, awards, needs, fantasy football needs. Head over to Trophy Smack, friends of the pod. Divas of the week. Phil already gave his diva of the week. Jordan, do you have one? Phil, do you have another one? Seth,
Can
how
I
are you guys
give
thinking? You want?
I had an
Go into another one.
anti-diva.
Sure.
No, it's
Sure.
an anti-diva.
Okay.
It is technically kind of a little bit of a shout out to a local business. It's a chain, franchise, whatever you'd like to call it. Trent is still a diva here. Trent has a legendary Pelicans, what is it called? What is the
Shaved ice.
shaved ice? Trent has a legendary shaved ice menu basically memorized. I called him, he didn't answer the phone, and I said, "Call me back, it's important." Then he texts me back. People who do that are a diva. Number two, when a friend tells you that something is important going on, something like shaved ice menu, you need to call them back. But outside of that,
Simple text would have worked. Simple text would have worked. I was gone all day.
I was on the phone right in front of the counter. Other thing is, shout out to the Kingsburg Pelicans. My daughter, she's 5 years old. And I will say that the sidewalks are very uneven in our town, right? Very uneven in our town. My daughter has got the gummy worm shaved ice. Okay. My second oldest daughter had the gummy worm shaved ice and was planning to save it all the way to our walk home. Well, as kids do, she tripped and all of the gummy bears fell out of the cup. Sad moment, tears. I'm trying to console, being the, all-star dad that I am, coach, advocate for my children. I went back up to the counter and I said, "I will buy 3 butterfly gummy bears." And they said, "You know what, sir, we will give you those for free." So shout out to Pelicans. They made a little girl's day today and her Father's Day. And so if you're in Kingsburg, you're feeling some shaved ice, cherry shaved ice with some like vanilla, or is it condensed milk? I think that's what it is.
Condensed milk is a little rich for me. I get the cream, but condensed milk's also very good.
So
I love the shaved ice.
I think I did say cream and condensed ice. I think I got.
Then yeah, you're getting fat off the hog. Then, man, that's pretty nice.
I was living. I think last time I said I didn't really like shaved ice, and I don't know if it's the spring air or what it was, but that just hit me in all the ways possible, and it was very delicious.
Oh, I love shaved ice. No, good shaved ice cannot be beat. Like, I absolutely love it.
That cream, answer your phone, and I need your help next time.
I've told you a million times, tiger's blood with cream. That's all you got to know. You could have texted me on the way there, but you wait to the last minute to, call me. Phil just sends 911 and it's like, yeah, I know this isn't a serious thing. He probably needs help opening his door again or something. But anyways, my diva of the week, I'm going to go with, the Chicago Bears have come out and said players have said hey, Caleb Williams, can't bring that Hollywood act over here to Chicago. You guys all said that. Who was it? Was it Jalen Johnson? Was it a defensive player? Someone said that he needs to just, earn the respect of the locker room.
Bring a winning mindset.
What'd you say?
They said that he needs to bring a winning mindset. And then someone on Twitter responded, it's like, didn't y'all go 4-14 last year?
Anyways, they say to leave all these Hollywood antics. He's, at a basketball game dancing, holding the pink phone, painted nails. Like, I just don't think the message has been received yet. And I think he still has time to change. I think he's walking into a great situation there in Chicago, but he's definitely doesn't seem like he's leaving that, not Chicago, that Hollywood lifestyle behind. And he'll probably be good enough that it won't matter. But,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Not listening
I was like, his
to
team
his
won't
future
care.
teammates.
His team won't care if he's good.
That's true, Seth. That's true.
If he's
So,
good, they're not going to care what he does. So
yeah, probably only saying that because you have the same phone as him. Jordan, what are you thinking here?
So yeah, I have a diva. My diva is, we're still March Madness, the Sweet 16 coming up. I've seen this a lot going around Twitter, the last couple weeks or so. People that say that the women's game is better than the men's game when it comes to basketball right now. It's just, you're a flat out diva. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Sure, like Caitlin Clark's good. She's
Caitlin
fun
Clark
to, like,
is balling, Jordan. Caitlin
like,
Clark
she's
is good.
balling,
I-
but
I-
like,
I-
you're
hey,
defending
hey,
right
I
now.
agree with
Stop.
this.
Jordan, I
because-
know more girls players than guys players, and I don't watch girls basketball or guys basketball.
And so here, there's two things here. You know
They
that
market it
because
better.
it's marketing better because ESPN has invested a ton of money into the women's college game. So like,
So now
they
you don't
have
like
rights,
ESPN. You've gone full circle.
so they don't have rights to the NCAA tournament. They're not gonna. When I go open my phone and go to the ESPN app, you know what scores show up first? The women's scores, not the men's scores. But the fact that if anyone thinks the women's game is better than the men's game right now, it's crazy. Like, no one in the women's game, the guy behind me on the green screen, Jack Golke, 10 threes, 10 for 20 to beat a Kentucky. You're not seeing upsets like that in the women's game. I went and looked.
You don't see the upsets. I agree.
There was one upset in the whole first round of the women's tournament. There was no Kentucky's losing on the women's side. You don't see it. Yes, maybe there's 8 good teams now instead of 2. But in the men's game, everyone can beat everyone. And you know why there's no like star players that you know about? Because there's that many good players in the men's game now. Yes, Caitlin Clark is dominant in the women's game. Yeah, because the drop off is crazy from the next player. So like, yeah, there's like 4 good players in the women's game. Look, I know there's probably more, but the drop off is bigger than like you get a Jack Golke from Oakland, or you have a Trey Townsend on Oakland who can play right with the 5-star recruits from Kentucky. And I get there's like an age difference there too, but like you have the Dalton Connect from Tennessee who went to junior college and then Northern Colorado, then transferred to Tennessee, or the Tyon Grant Foster, like from GCU, who's probably going to be a professional NBA player. Like, there's just so many good players in men's game that, yeah, you don't get the guys that stand out like you do in the women's game. I don't know. It's obviously, you can tell it's something that's a pet peeve
I have
of mine,
honestly no point of reference. I like have not watched anything.
It just bothers me. It really bothers me when I see like men, like guys who coach boys basketball on Twitter saying that the women's game is real basketball. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, that makes no sense. Like,
Jordan,
it bothers me to no end.
It's definitely real basketball, but it definitely ain't the best basketball. Let's just be real. So
I have no point of reference.
Are
to me, they all look the same.
Let me rephrase that. I don't mean it's not, but like people are saying like, oh, this is what real basketball looks like about the women's game. Like, come on, like.
If you agree or disagree with Jordan, just go ahead and tag him on Twitter and all these
thumbs
posts.
Down.
I so he can react to all
thumbs down on that take. Everyone, Trent, what are you saying? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
I was going to thumbs down the take, but then I realized that's why I know all of them, because ESPN's just shoving it down our throats, like what they always do. And it's like, I know I don't watch basketball, period. But like, there's that girl from Iowa State that dropped that 40 piece, and Antonio
Audie
Brown
Crooks
tweeted about her. Yeah. And then all that stuff. Like, no, it's like, I know more girls basketball players than guys basketball players, and I don't watch any of it. Like I feel like the older I get, the less March Madness I watch. I did watch a little bit on Friday night, and it plays in the office sometimes, but I don't like, I feel like I'm farther away from it every year with the March Madness stuff for whatever
the
reason.
narrative
I did watch the game the other night. The overtime game. Who was it when the guy was fouling out and all that stuff? I did watch that one.
I remember the Houston game.
Yeah.
The Houston game. That was a good game. That was a great game, actually. Houston and Texas A&M.
All basketball is the same to me. I am sad though that wrestling is over. The wrestling tournament ended last week. Jordan, did you watch that?
I'll be honest. I did not watch any of it.
Trent, did
In a
you
local-
watch it?
I watched a little bit. We had a local kid win, from
Won the-
Selma, which is our rivals, but he did win.
You got to cheer for him though. You got to cheer for him in the national
really big
championship though. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll cheer for all Valley guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be. Was he the only California guy to win a national championship this year?
I didn't watch it that much. I don't know. I have no
Anyhow,
idea.
great tournament overall. I would say
Seth?
if you're going to be watching anything in March, that is the tournament that you should be watching.
You might need my diva next
is
week,
Phill.
Phil.
Why, Seth?
Phil's my diva because he's defending women's sports. Okay.
I had Seth, you also have daughters.
Phil,
I will
if
always.
I had to
defend
go
women's
watch a
sports.
kid's soccer game or watch March Madness, I'm gonna say March Madness.
That's going to change when your kids are in soccer.
Phil's a
Yeah,
coach.
watch. I will be sitting in that chair, but guess what's gonna be playing on my phone?
Oh, that's probably accurate. I think I would.
Like,
do the
come on,
same.
man. Come on.
I don't know.
Come
no,
on,
March
man. Sure,
Madness is-
Caitlin Clark's good, man, but good. I mean, she's gonna go to the WNBA. No one's gonna watch her anymore. Okay.
Who knows? I don't know. I'm gonna stick here. I'm gonna stand my ground, and I'm gonna say I would rather watch the girls college basketball than the dudes, especially right now. This tournament seems boring, to be quite honest with you.
It's real basketball. No, but here's the thing. Phil's at least smart enough to not admit that on audio, for the future, whether he watches something on his phone or not. So I will give him that. It's Seth, actually, that's probably what I'll do. But yeah. So
You'll be like watching college football while the game's going on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Yeah, anything under the age of 8, absolutely. Okay, let's get into our dudes decide. This is a new segment that Phill decided to go over, and Phill is going to give us how many appetizers, Phill? You're talking
Gentlemen,
appetizers.
I have America's top 5 appetizers, and so I think food is a very big. Not I think food is a very big topic on this podcast. You have a couple guys on this podcast that are slightly overweight, me included. I'll throw my hat into that mix. And we talk about food a lot. And one of the biggest things about food is the appetizers. You go to a friend's house before dinner, you're eating some chips, some dip, you have some appetizers, maybe something, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Appetizers are deeply rooted in the evolution of dining customs, culinary traditions, and social practices across different cultures and time periods. While the specific origins of the appetizers are difficult to pinpoint, we can trace the concept of serving small, flavorful dishes before the main meal back to ancient civilization. I'm sure you guys don't want me to go through ancient civilizations, medieval Europe, Renaissance Enlightenment, or the colonial America appetizers. But what I can say is today,
Actually,
appetizers.
please do.
Okay, which one do you want to hear, Seth?
All right, guys. Catch you tomorrow.
All right, you know what? I'm just gonna go with one.
Seth's going to do his
Colonial
dudes
America.
decides next week if this segment doesn't get scrapped.
So colonial America, in the early days of America, settlers brought their culinary traditions from Europe, including the practice of serving appetizers before meals. However, availability of local ingredients and influences from Native American cuisine led to the development of new appetizer recipes, such as clam chowder and corn fritters. So if we didn't have appetizers, we wouldn't have that delicious cup of clam chowder that you get every time you drive, 2.5 hours over to Pismo Beach. So you can thank the colonial settlers for that, Seth. I'm sure you will be thanking them the next time you take a bite of that clam chowder that you enjoy. Anyhow, today's appetizers continue to be an integral part of the dining experience across the globe, from traditional antipasta in Italy to contemporary small dishes in trendy restaurants. All that to say is appetizers are a big deal. And given the fact that America is in the highest amount of debt that we've ever been in, appetizers play a big role in American dining. So I see no other conversation that's more important to have right now in March 26, 2024 than to talk about our top 20 appetizers. So I'm just going to call you guys out. What
20? You're going to give us
20?
20?
No. I'm going to narrow it down to top 5.
I might fall asleep.
I have a list of 20 in front of me, and I just want to
He's
hear
either
from
going to fall
you,
asleep
Jordan,
or start drooling.
when you think of an appetizer, what is your number one appetizer?
Me?
He's going to use this as ammo, Jordan. Don't give it to him.
Yes.
I don't. You're the one making the list, not me.
Just tell me what is one appetizer that you
No.
think of.
You
Seth,
tell me. You're
Seth, you want to jump in? You want to say an
we'll go to-
appetizer?
you come to us after. You didn't help
Don't
me
turn
with the
this around on
mascots.
me. All right. Well,
It's your deal.
All right, fine. I will give you my top 5 appetizers. And at the end, if you guys disagree with them, that's totally fine.
I'm grading you hard because you were a moron last week on grading.
For what it's worth, I'm not going to say chicken satay because that was an option that I looked up, and I'm not even sure if I can completely describe what chicken satay is. With that said, my top 5 appetizers in order, starting with number 5. Okay. So number 5 on the board is chips and guac. Chips and guac is very delicious. Sometimes they will make it next to you at your table, fresh from scratch at the various restaurant that you'll go to. Kind of an experience in itself, kind of a viewing party, you could call it. Delicious chips, especially if they're made in house. Lime, especially right now, Trent, the farmer that you are, I feel like avocados are in season.
I think avocados are in season year round now.
Yeah, but now I think you're getting a little bit better of avocado. So that is my number 5. You added no value to that answer.
The same Haas.
Pretty sure we get Haas avocados from Mexico almost year round, but yeah, they're in season right now, Phill. Absolutely.
All right, that is covering, chips and guac is. I don't think it's kind of like Trent's ice cream take. Like, sure, maybe you can add a little bit too much salt, you can add a little bit too much lime to the guac, but overall, if you have a good mix of chips and guac, you really can do no wrong. Chips and guac, number 5 off the board. All right, number 4, a appetizer that's very near and dear to my heart. I talk about it almost regularly on the podcast. Does anyone want to guess what this is?
Bruschetta.
It is not bruschetta. Jordan, do you want to talk about this? Do you want to try it?
No.
Bacon wrapped dates. These are dates stuffed with cheese or almonds wrapped in bacon and baked until crispy and caramelized. You have a little bit, so they're bacon wrapped. The cheese ones, I actually prefer brie cheese inside there. Actually goat cheese in there, bacon wrapped, delicious. This is a high-end dining experience. If you're going,
where you get these from, Trader Joe's?
Yeah, actually, I've made them most of the time. They are delicious.
I found like 1 or 2 restaurants that have them.
They're really
Phil's
good.
like Phil's a fine dining kind of guy. Like, I'm more of like an Applebee's appetizers guy, but Phil's a little different, so that's
I'm
fine.
a little bit different in a good way.
I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Are you talking about the luggage room
restaurant? You know, only 2 restaurants have these. It's because no one eats dates anymore.
You got to try these, Seth.
I'm actually surprised that you've ever been on a date, Seth, with that attitude.
They
are delicious. All right.
Have you ever had a date shake?
Yes, but no one eats them.
Not even bacon wrapped. Have you had it, Seth?
Had what?
Bacon wrapped dates.
Yes, they're okay. They're not anything crazy.
They're okay. All right. As long as you've had them, that makes me happy. All right, moving on to number 3. Like I said, it is not chicken satay, and maybe I'm taking a little bit too long, but I tend to enjoy the finer things in life. I will say this is also something that I talk about pretty regularly on this podcast. And I'm going to say this one. I talk about pretty regularly on this podcast. And if you haven't heard me say it, you probably haven't talked to me much. I am going with buffalo wings. I love buffalo wings. I would consider them an appetizer. I know some people think that they're an entree. Some people think they're an entire meal. They're not. They are an appetizer. If you go over to a friend's house and they say that they have wings for dinner, I might say that's great. I'm probably going to have to eat something on the way home. But if you wanted to serve that as an appetizer, totally fine. Okay. And those things better be bone-in wings. And we're not talking about chicken nuggets here. And variety of nuggets. As a variety of different sauces is a-okay with me, all the way from buffalo to teriyaki to just regular barbecue.
If they don't have buffalo sauce, they're not buffalo wings. So what's your answer here?
Sorry,
buffalo wings or wings?
Sorry, wings. Wings is my answer. Okay. That is a good clarification point, Jordan. Thanks for pointing that out. Wings in general.
The guy, keep going, Phill. Never mind.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and say what you're.
No. I'll wait till the end. Go.
All right. So that is my number 3 pick. Number 3 off the board is not buffalo wings. Jordan, thank you so much for correcting me on that. I very much appreciate it. I probably I could have done worse, right? But you stepped in and you saved the day. I'm really having a hard time with number 2. In fact, I may just not do a number 2 at all because I'm a little bit embarrassed. I think I should have shuffled my list a little bit. But for my number 2, I'm really into just being able to talk with my hands, eat something as I go along. I am a huge fan. There's a place in Visalia about 5 minutes south of Trevor that has a really good hummus and pita bread appetizer. Hummus and pita bread. I actually should have think this should be my number 5. I should have switched that with chips and guac, but a good pita bread and hummus really kicks off the meal, and it really doesn't matter the genre of food. Hummus and pita bread, heck, you can sit down. I could eat probably, I don't know, let's call it 2,000 of those little garbanzo beans in the hummus. Like I could go through some hummus. That's all I'm saying. So hummus and pita bread, number 2. Last but not least, and this is the one that I keep referring to and I end up not talking about. Can you guess what my number 1 is? I'm going to ask Seth. Seth's a pretty hard judger. Seth, what do you think my number 1 is?
Taquitos.
No. Jordan, what are you going to guess? What are you going to guess?
This is the most random appetizer list
I
I've
don't
ever heard
know.
of, but
I
All
don't
right.
know.
Trent?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Nachos.
All right, number 1, closing out my list. Number 1, hands down, no questions asked, charcuterie plate. A nice charcuterie plate with meat, cheese, some crackers, maybe some honey, some dipping sauce, maybe some
Were you
fig
eating
jam
that
there.
while you're watching women's basketball?
Along with
charcuterie
eating some
plate.
dates along the way too.
They could have dates on the board. There could be dates on the board. I could be on a date while I'm eating a charcuterie
This is
board.
a catch-all. This is a catch-all. This is not a.
If you don't enjoy a nice charcuterie board before your ribeye steak gets there with mashed potatoes and maybe a touch of gravy on the top, I don't think you're dining correctly. You should always partner your meals with a appetizer of charcuterie before you start anything else. Refreshes the palate, cleanses the palate, I will say, and just serves as just like an introduction to your meal. So that is my top 5. I hope you appreciated it. Feel free to disagree with me, say I was wrong, whatever it may be. But that is the list. That is the list, boys. Feel free to just rip it apart.
No. Oh,
Hey Phil,
And I'm expecting a grade.
Phil,
Go,
what is the
Jordan.
name of our podcast? What's the name of our podcast, please? Can you please tell me the name of our podcast?
Fantasy Football Dudes Podcast.
I don't know if the dudes was very reflective in your appetizer list.
not at all.
What?
Not at all.
The wings might be the only thing that characterize a dude
Guac?
in your list. Yeah, sure. I overlooked that one because of all the other ones. But
You don't think
charcuterie board is not
fresh
reflective
shot
of a
venison?
dude.
Fresh shot venison served on a
Wait, when
That's
is
a
that
catch-all.
ever
That's filler.
on
That's a
there?
total catch-all filler. Is what
dry
it is.
aged venison cut into coins that you're gonna have with a nice
Have you
mustard.
eaten that on a charcuterie board?
Yes.
How many times?
I've had, actually I would say at least 2.
No, the problem with charcuterie is you just basically did a catch-all of like, no, that's on my charcuterie board. No, that would be on my charcuterie board. Like
You don't
could
think
throw
like a
nachos
nice
on a
summer,
charcuterie board.
venison summer sausage couldn't be on a charcuterie board? Like that to me is insane.
It could.
Phil, listen to
did a
yourself
catch-all.
talk right
you
now.
You did a catch-all. You could have just said hometown buffets my appetizer and just like, oh yeah, that's there too. That's there too.
No,
Like,
absolutely
that was
not.
a total catch-all. No, that is. I'm giving you
He's
a
like-
C
he's
minus.
like, let
on
me
being
think.
nice.
Phil, next time just say I'll take the Denny's sampler as my appetizer.
Ooh.
You
Actually,
missed
it's pretty good.
mozzarella
That is
stick.
pretty good.
You missed mozzarella sticks. You missed nachos. A table of nachos. This is what I'm thinking. Those appetizers are good, Phil. But the people who listen to this pod are blue collar guys who go to Applebee's on the weekends, Denny's, Chili's, stuff like that. All those 3 places I just said, nothing. Chips and guac is probably at those places. There's no bacon wrap dates. There is wings, hummus, and pita bread. Like, no, you don't know your audience.
Pull up a
is the
Buffalo
problem.
Wild Wings menu right now. I guarantee that there's probably 4 out of the
There's
5
no
that are on there.
hummus and there's no dates. And
I'm
there's no
looking up a
charcuterie
Buffalo
board.
Wild Wings menu. So Trent, you're giving me a C minus.
I'm giving you a C minus. What are you giving him, Jordan?
That is rude.
I'm giving him a D.
Wow,
Jordan,
that is.
what's your favorite appetizer, Jordan? Just go with one.
I think the wings are good. I think I'm a big jalapeno poppers guy. I really like those. I also like appetizer. I will say appetizer is hard because it's a very broad and like very subjective thing. Like what's an appetizer, what's not.
I don't have any that I hate usually.
See, that's your problem. You're not willing to put yourself out there like me. You know.
Well, I also need to like think
put my
about
neck
it.
on the line.
You had a
Feelings
whole
on the
20,
line.
you had hours to prep this list. Like I would need to think about it a little bit to come up with a good list.
Like loaded nachos, spinach and artichoke,
A good
dip,
one.
potato
Yep.
skins, fried
Yeah,
calamari.
solid.
Oh, the seafood platter, always good. The seafood tower, always good. Calamari's
good,
up there,
like-
man, with lemon.
Yeah.
No, you say that. Wow, calamari is not served at most restaurants. I would say.
Seafood. You ever heard of Red Lobster? That's
Yeah, but that's like me saying
Red
that.
Lobster.
Yeah.
Red
That
Lobster rolls.
That is ridiculous.
Phil, you went to like stuff that people don't even know what it is. They have to get out their Google to see what this is. I'm surprised you
I'm
didn't say
trying to
bone
opening
marrow.
up people's horizons. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's fine, but didn't expect a hard grade. Seth, what's your favorite app, Seth? Before we wrap this thing up,
I'm a big nachos guy. Me and my wife like to get nachos.
You look like it, Bubba.
Usually, if there's like a good nacho plate, or I see one, and I'm like, oh, that's good. We'll get the nachos. I prefer no sour cream, but I will eat it.
Oh,
if it's on.
really?
Yeah.
I
I
see.
think
I'm
the
a
sour
sour
cream soggies it a little bit too much,
Do you like the sauce or do you like the shredded cheese?
Definitely more of the shredded cheese that's melted. I'm not necessarily like the nacho like cheese on the
Yeah.
nachos. It's more the melted cheese on there. It's better.
Onion rings. You could have said onion rings, Phil.
Yep. That's a good one.
Fries, tater tots. Just know your audience. Breadsticks.
Sweet potato fries. Sweet potato fries
Sweet
is
potato
good.
Fries.
No, kidding me. Sweet potato fries are
Yes.
not good.
Yes. Phil, I'm surprised you didn't say caviar.
All right,
Jordan,
I'm
give
giving
Phil
you.
a grade.
I'm giving. No, Seth. I think you already did. Seth,
No, I
needs to
gave you a
me
C
grade.
minus, and I was being really
There's a
nice.
I gave him a D.
I'm grading on
I
a
gave him a
curve.
D.
Seth, what are you giving him?
The D.
All right, guys, if you want a new dudes decision for next week,
2
leave
out
it
of
in the
5 's
comments
terrible.
at tffdudes. Phil, any last words? I want to do one of these every week. Appetizers. Phil thought he'd hit this one out of the park. He was super excited about it. Feel kind of bad about him. Phil, any last words before we shut this party down?
I feel kind of bad for him. No, you know what? I'm sticking to my appetizer list. I think that's a winner. If you're having any one of those apps, you can't go wrong. If you're going to take your SIG out on a date this next weekend, feel free to order any one of those appetizers and you absolutely will enjoy it. Anyhow, that's all I have to say.
All right, guys, don't miss us next week. We're going to be doing our rookie QB preview. I'll be bringing the JJ McCarthy fire. But as always, we'll see you next week and take care.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.